If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. It is January the 12th, 2023, and today the topic is the children and the threshing floor. Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Thursday. I hope that you all had a great day yesterday. Mine was just fine. Not too much to report. I mean, your girl was just teaching yesterday. I had worked with an active student yesterday, and then that's pretty much the main thing that I did outside of, hustling from home and being a mom and everything like that. I guess the other significant thing that I feel led to share kind of coincides with this conversation today. But I think at first I'll get into like this topic, right? So, because a lot happened this morning. A lot has happened this morning. So first of all, your girl woke up around 2:57. All right. So y'all know what I do when I wake up anytime before 4 or after 4. I pay attention to that time and I start looking it up, right? And so, I did that. I went in, did my business this morning, whatever the case is. By the time I got back into bed, I guess I was up, and so I just ended up getting on social media, answering some people have been commenting on videos and things like that. All right, so let me start there. So, long story short, every now and then I go and check and see, YouTube, where we at, stuff like that. I don't too much dwell on it, but I mean, I have been a little bit more focused on it lately. And I think that's because I want to get someone to help grow the channel, because I want more people to see the content that we create here, right? But in the meantime, until I get somebody to focus on that, every now and then I go and check and see what's going on. So people have been commenting, and I noticed that a lot of the we're getting a lot of views on Allie's content, and those that have been following me for a while, y'all know who she is. If not, long story short, she's a human trafficking survivor that I had the opportunity to interview a couple of times and everything like that. I've been sharing the information that I come across, or the information that she encourages us to share, as well as information that I feel led to share. On the GSL platform, we created a playlist dedicated to her content. I share it in the hopes that, it will bring more awareness to this human trafficking issue, and everything like that. So, long story short, I noticed that her content tends to get a lot of views, whatever. And to God be the glory, I'm glad that the message is getting out, because, again, I feel like her story is a powerful story and a powerful testimony. And, I know that there's a few things. Before I was in the movie that I was in, which those you should already know the movie I was in. If not, I don't know. Google me, right? Anyway. So before the movie, and then before I met her, my mind was not open to this human trafficking thing. Like, I knew that it was happening. I knew that it was a thing, because I grew up hearing about the milk cartons. I grew up seeing the missing kids on the Walmart wall and things like that. I grew up with my mom telling us to be safe and all that type of stuff, right? And so I think everybody knows that there's something going on, right? But then I don't think any of us knew that it was to the magnitude that it is. And I've shared that journey as I found information, once I came across her testimony and was getting my eyes being open to more of these things, right? So anyway, So a lot of times when people are commenting about whether they believe her or not, I don't tend to respond. But today I ended up responding to someone that was like, where's more information? And I was like, well, hey, here's this playlist of the information that I've gathered and that I felt led to share on the platform. But outside of that, I mean, you guys have to just go to allysarmy.com, or you guys have to just go and find her on social media and get all of the nits and, nits and bits and nitty gritty information. Because she shared a lot, right? And I've only come across it, 2 years ago and everything like that. So anyway, I share all that to say that, somehow my mind became engulfed in that information this morning. And then next thing I knew, it was 4 o'clock. Right. And so, I get my mind and, heart and mind ready to start doing the prayer meditation and everything like that. So I do my prayer meditation. I mean, it was good, but at the same time, I don't know, I felt disconnected to a certain extent. So I did an extra prayer afterwards and just was praying for everybody and everything like that and myself and whatever the case is. I also woke up to a dream this morning as well about a friend, but that don't have anything to do with anything at the moment. So anyway, so I'm praying for everybody. I'm praying for, my friends, my family, just thanking God for everything, in the midst of praying for everything as well. So then after I do that, I feel like my heart and mind is clear. So I start to go deeper and see what the Lord wants to show me with 257, right? And so the interesting thing is, one of the first verses I came across when I looked up 257 this morning, it was Ezra 257, all right? And when you read that verse, it's just pretty much talking about, I guess, the children of such and such, the children of such and such, the children of such and such. But what really stood out to me this morning is it said the children 4 times. So I was like, okay, interesting. You know what I mean? My mind was already engulfed in this Ali's Army stuff. Now the Lord showed me the children 4 times. And I was like, okay, all right. So then I went deeper. I went to the Strong's Concordance, right? And basically, threshing floor stood out to me as I looked up the words and whatnot, that centered around 257 this morning. Y'all can go to the Strong's Concordance on your own and look that up, about what those words were and how did I get this threshing floor. But I'm just letting you know that that's what I got to once I read those words. So then I started to look up verses centered around the children and the threshing floor, and that's what pretty much led me to this topic today. So this is what I came across. So I ended up going deeper and looking up the definition of thresh, and thresh says separate grain, a plant, typically with a flail or by action of revolving mechanism. Okay. Then it was interesting. I came across a slang definition for the word thresh, and that said to work through or flesh out, as in an idea or problem. And then, of course, when I came to the biblical definition of threshing floor, it said a place of separation and revelation. Friends, that's when I guess the Lord was just downloading information into my heart and mind in regards to this. And what I was receiving this morning is, 1, that God is not playing about these children. And 2, the threshing floor, I mean, it seems to be, what I'm receiving is things are going to come to a head. It seems like soon. I know people have been talking about this. They've been talking about a lot of stuff since 2020. Oh, this has been revealed. That's been revealed. This is going to be revealed. Da, 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 da. And we've seen a lot of things revealed. Like, if you paying attention, then you've seen a lot of things revealed. Especially in regards to this human trafficking, sex trafficking, children trafficking, all this different type of stuff. There's a lot of things that have been revealed if you are paying attention. But for those that aren't paying attention, then I guess it's over your head. You're missing it. Your eyes and ears probably closed to everything I'm saying right now. But anyway, for those that have the eyes and ears to hear, let you see and hear, I guess what the Lord is revealing through me this morning. So anyway, these are the verses that I came across this morning and felt led to share. So Proverbs 22:6, it says, train a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Again, in my heart and mind, the main thing that I was receiving this morning is God is not playing about these children. This is what we're supposed to be doing to the children. If you notice, a lot of this stuff is centered around the kids. Like, they want them to think a certain way. They want them to do certain things. They want them to have a different mindset, especially against whatever the Bible has to say. And this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be training up a child in the way that he should go, so that even when he gets old, he would not depart from it. I'm a living example. I feel like there's a lot of people that are living examples that, hey, you may have been raised a certain way. You may fell out the path. You may have like walked away for a little bit. You may was trying to go and do your own thing. But ultimately, the Lord brought you back to where he wanted you to be. Right? That's my testimony. I know some people don't have that testimony. Some people just stay on the straight and narrow the whole time. But for those that do fall short in X, Y, and Z, because we all fall short. Let's put that on the table. We all have sinned and fall short. Therefore, some have the testimony that is similar to mine, right? Now, I feel like, what was brought into my heart and mind this morning about how serious this conversation is about the children is that, like, again, the enemy will use any little thing to infiltrate. And if you don't believe me, let me share y'all a little testimony from yesterday. And this has happened a couple of times, but I mean, because it happened yesterday and because I'm sitting here talking about this today, hey, to God be the glory, use my life as a living testimony. So here we go. Long story short, so I told y'all, didn't really do too much yesterday, but in the midst of the day, there was a moment. So first of all, my son got up and, most of the time when, he'll get up and he'll come in my room and be like, good morning. He's been doing that lately. Or sometimes maybe he'll still be in the midst of sleep and be like, oh, good morning, or whatever the case is. But yesterday morning, he got up and I was already bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So when he walked in the room, I was like, good morning, and he was the one that was like, good morning, or whatever the case is. And so first we had a little conversation because I told y'all I was thinking about going to hustle in the streets yesterday, right? I was thinking about going to do Uber Eats, basically. And I was like, hey, son, you want to go with me and, work, whatever? He's like, you can go. Or whatever the case is. And I was like, and that was weird. I was like, okay, kid, like, oh, you don't want to go with mommy? I think I'll stay with Papa. Oh, excuse me, And so then, he goes and does a little thing, whatever the case is. Now I want to say around lunchtime, something like that. I don't know. At some point I came out the room and I noticed he was singing Halloween and do-da-da-da. Now here's my thing. Like, now on one hand, I'm not going to sit here and beat up every holiday like people go through and they be like, oh, Halloween, oh, pagan, oh, this and that. And I get it. I'm sure there is a lot, especially when it comes to Halloween. I'm sure there is a lot going on with that. But I'm not saying that, like, the way my mom raised us was like, obviously everything was, centered around God. So, I mean, she would host, events where she's showing Bible stuff. I mean, even though we might have participated in like going around the square and trick-or-treating at the different stores that was up there and whatnot, I still was familiar with Bible and all that type of aspect of in regards to like, one of the main things that really, really stood out to me is it wasn't a haunted house. It was like a situation where this church had put on this presentation and showed like life decisions and stuff like that and how that could affect you in your life, X, Y, and Z. And the main quote that I remember, and this is from my childhood, it said, choices are life changing. And again, that has stuck with me throughout the rest of my life. And I truly, truly see that exercise in my life like every day. Choices are life changing, right? So anywho, so what I'm saying is, like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, Halloween, I'm bashing it, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, I do see how it can be used for evil. I can see all this type of stuff. And I think it's just very interesting how, out of all the things that my son watched, for the most part, like, he'll watch all kinds of content, he'll watch little Pokio, he'll watch a little Paw Patrol, he'll pick some little stuff. It's things that he'll pick on his own, he'll pick some little stuff like that. But a lot of the times I notice he'll be watching something about Halloween. And here's my thing. I'm like, all right, so you done watch some little Halloween stuff. Let me put you on some little Jesus stuff, right? And I think he's noticed that. He's caught that or whatever, because I want to say it was last year or maybe the year before last. But at some point in his childhood, he ain't never before. But at some point, I was in the room and he was talking to his dad in the living room. And he's like, Mommy don't like Halloween. Mommy likes Jesus. you know? And I kind of laughed to myself because I was like, I never told the kid I didn't like Halloween or whatever the case is, but I just was like, let's put on some God content, you know what I mean? Let's put on some Jesus content, whatever. And it's just very interesting that he's already distinguished between Halloween and Jesus. Like he's distinguished that in his mind. And so yesterday, we fast forward to yesterday, right? So what happened was yesterday, this kid, he was singing or doing something about Halloween. And then I had came in, and as soon as I came in the room, I didn't even tell him, I didn't say nothing about changing nothing or whatever. But as soon as I walked in the room, he was like, I don't want to watch Jesus. And I'm like, huh? I said, okay, because you said that you finna definitely watch Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when I realized he was watching something about Halloween. I know he was singing a Halloween song, but I wasn't paying attention to what he was watching before he said that. And I was like, very interesting. So then I put on that, and I noticed the kid walked out the room and all this kind of stuff, like in a huff and all that. And I walk into his room, he's sitting there with his little arm crossed and rolling his eyes. I'm like, hold on, kid. Like, okay. So first of all, like, we can talk. You know what I mean? Me and you can talk. But you're not going to be disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? And you're not going to be, you can express yourself, but you're not going to be over here talking about, X, Y, and Z, And so I'm having this conversation with him, and I'm trying to, like, get him to focus and like stop rolling his eyes. And at some point it seemed like he was trying to get loud with me. I'm like, hold on, you need to understand who I am and who you are. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I share all that to say that God ain't playing about these kids, and we need to be training them up in the way that they should go. Because when we're not training them, right, then somebody gonna train them, and it might be somebody that you don't want to train them. So that's just something to keep in our hearts and minds this morning. I don't know why he's gravitated to this Halloween content, X, Y, and Z. But, it is my duty as his mother to balance things out and remind him of the word and remind him of God and remind him of Jesus and remind him of that there's other content to consume aside from that. And that's where I feel like I'm at in regards to parents. And I don't know where you at. If you are a parent or whatever, you might let your kid watch everything, whatever the case is. And that's fine. Do you, I guess, But what I'm going to say is I'm going to focus on what the Lord is telling us to do here. And it is saying, train a child in the way that they should go. All right. So then let's keep going, y'all. So Psalm 127:3, it says, behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb, a reward. So, I don't have to go too deep about this, y'all. At the end of the day, I think it's very clear all around us that people look at children as nuisances. They look at children as, something to get in the way. That's why abortion is where it's at. You know what I mean? That's why, all these different things are happening the way they are in regards to the kids. Like, we're not looking at the kids like they are a inheritance, right? We're looking at them and like they getting in our way of whatever the case is or whatever, So we need to renew our mind in this area in regard to these kids, is what I'm receiving today. Again, it says here, the fruit of the womb, a reward, is what, children are. And so, if that's something that you got to pray about or whatever the case is, like maybe you need to renew your mind and let the Lord show you what children are. And everything like that. Let's keep going. Proverbs 20:11, it says, even a child make himself known by his acts, by whether his conduct is pure and upright. Even children show this. So, what can I say about adults at this point? If even children can show whether they have pure conduct or not, then it's even more for us that as adults. Because at the end of the day, at least like he probably didn't know what he was saying yesterday to be like deep within him as a child, him as a 4-year-old, him saying like, I don't want to watch Jesus. Like, he's a kid, you know what I mean? He don't know what he's talking about. But an adult knows full well what they're saying and doing and whatnot. And so just something to think about in regards to all of this stuff that when it comes to this, again, children and threshing for a thing. So I'm still on the children, I think. No. Actually, this next verse, we're going to get into the threshing floor aspect of the conversation. So Luke 3:17, it says, his sorry, y'all. His winnowing fork, y'all can look and see what that says. But anyway, his winnowing fork is in his hands to clear his threshing floor and to gather the wheat into his barn. But the chaff he will burn in the unquenchable fire. Listen, y'all don't like no hell message, right? Y'all don't like that. Y'all don't want to hear about that. But oh well, you know what I mean? It might be Pope this morning, but I mean, I feel like in a variety of ways, the Lord talks about this thing of separating the wheat from the chaff, of what's going to happen to the chaff and everything like that. What's going to happen to those individuals that aren't walking in the will of God. And I think, according to even one I've come across, I didn't write the verse down, but there is a verse that specifically talks about leading the young astray. And I would say not even children. I would say even the spiritually young. Anybody leading the spiritually young astray and putting those stumbling blocks in front of them, and taking them away, ultimately taking them away from Christ. The word says that it's better that a millstone be put around your neck and you be cast into the sea than to do that. So again, God ain't playing about these kids, you know, and leading kids astray and teaching them things that, you know, should not be done. And I'm talking about in all aspects. I'm not just talking about biblical. I'm talking about if you teaching them, you know, and I'll say, okay, here we go. Here's even deeper. I'm not just talking about just teaching in regards to being like, okay, and so this and this. No, I'm saying teaching by instruction, like teaching by like encouraging the children to engage in sexual acts of any kind. All of that type of stuff. It's teaching them, whether you know it or not. So again, you know, if you are engaging in things, I would hope and pray that people that listen to the sound of my voice ain't engaging in this type of foolishness. However, if you are, then you need to repent and turn around from that. Because again, God ain't playing about these kids. He just said the children 4 times this morning, and then revealed to me about threshing floor. The chaff and the wheat will be separated. And so stop playing with these kids, man. Stop playing with these kids. I'm gonna keep going. Lord help me, Jesus. Numbers 18 and 27. It says, and your contribution shall be credited to you as though it were the grain of the threshing floor and the fullness of the winepress. So, again, I mean, you know, when I read this verse this morning is that, you know, your deeds, whatever your deeds that you do will be counted to you, you know. So good deeds will be counted to you, but if you got the bad deeds going on, that's going to be counted to you too. That's what I'm receiving this morning. Let's keep going. Ephesians 5 and 11, take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. And so that's, if nothing else, you know, that is the reason why I share Ellie's content. That is the reason why when I came across her content, I believe her. You know what I mean? I believe that she's gone through the things that she's gone through, that she tells us that she's gone through. Regardless of that, right? Regardless of her individual testimony, the bigger issue is that she is one of many. She is like one child that experienced and just happens to be sharing. Like a lot of this is like the most recent episode of GSL talks all about the GSL talk show talks all about child abuse and things of that nature, and sexual abuse with children and stuff in particular. And a lady that works with you know, different people, and one of the main things she said, I mean, she said a lot in that episode, so y'all should go and check it out. But she did mention about how even there was a young man, like I want to say 11 or 12, that admitted to her that he as well was doing these things to the children younger than him. Now, where did he learn that from? You know, and so I just think we should take all this a little bit more seriously, y'all. Let me keep going. Now, okay, so these last few verses here, I'm all for calling everything out, right? And I'm all for, like, you know, matter of fact, one of the things I felt led to remind y'all of is that apparently there's going to be some marches all around the U.S. That Ali's army, they're putting together marches and whatnot. The one that is in Atlanta will be between Baker Street and Lucky Street from 12 to 2 on the January 13th, 14th, and 15th, which is the next 3 days. If you feel led to go out there and participate and everything like that, then by all means do so. Be safe and all that. If you feel led to share in any other aspect, I mean, just share it, y'all, or get out here. And I know they do this thing where they paint rocks and tell people information or whatever the case is, like, or just tell your next family member or whatever, you know what I mean? Do something to spread this message about this evil, crazy thing that is happening across the world and everything like that. So that's one thing I did feel led to share with y'all this morning in regards to exposing this evil stuff, right? Because we need to expose this stuff. We need to talk more about this stuff. We need to expose it, and we need to get rid of it as much as we can. Now, I know we can't get rid of all sin and everything like that, so it's probably going to always be here until the Lord comes back. But what we can do is face it head on, right? And not keep trying to sweep it under the rug or hide it and all the stuff that has been going on over the years. So so that I'm all for. However, to my fellow people that are doing that, right? Because when you hear stuff like this, you can easily get upset. You can easily get mad. You can easily want to like take out vengeance and all these different type of things. So I feel like the Lord, like this morning, he was showing me things that's going to sum this up on how we should handle this and everything like that. So that's what these next few verses is about. Okay. So, one of the first ones I feel led to share is Romans 12 and 19. It says, "Beloved, never avenge yourselves, but leave it to the wrath of God. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, say the Lord." Now, this might be pulp. You might not like this, but this is the best way to handle this situation. Yes, expose it. Yes, call it out. Yes, talk about it. All of that's fine. But don't be getting out here trying to avenge yourselves. According to the Bible, don't avenge yourselves. Let God handle it. Let him repay. Keep bringing it to him in prayer. You know, that's the least you can do in this fight, right? Pray about it. And when the fact that God even got me talking about this morning lets me know that, I mean, I don't know, be on the lookout. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what else is going to be exposed or what more needs to be exposed. But, I mean, I feel like something is coming. This Weeks and Chaff thing is happening and it's coming. But regardless of that, you know, let's find some peace in knowing that God will take care of us. And this is going to be, again, renewing our minds to really understand that, like, wow, God really has my back. And we might not feel like he do, because it ain't happening, quote unquote, fast enough, or quote unquote the way we think, and all this type of stuff. But just keep this on our heart and mind so you don't get engulfed, because that's the thing. Like, okay, I'll be honest. So, I told y'all I've been, like, you know, following this story and sharing this content and stuff for, like, since I met Allie, like, 2 years ago, right? And I noticed that, like, she'll comment about, oh, I've been on this, I've been on that, da da da. And that's fine, you know what I mean? She don't have to call out that I was a part of that. It doesn't matter, you know what I mean? Like, that part don't matter. I'm going to continue to share the content, and I'm going to continue to, you know, share what the Lord tells me to share. And I think there was a time where I was brought to the front lines, if you want to say, and then there was a time that the Lord, I guess, shielded me again. So that's probably the reason why, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. But the reason I'm talking about it is because, see, I think the Lord has revealed to me that I need balance. Me personally, I need balance with this conversation. Because, like I said, I can get upset, you know what I mean? I can sit here and be, like, real mad and just be stewing all day thinking about this thing that, by the grace of God, I have not experienced to this extent. And things like that, right? And so, because of that, right? And because I'm out here as somebody, he has me out here as somebody that's giving daily inspiration. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't for me, in my humble opinion, it's not for me to constantly every day harp on this. When at the end of the day, the Lord tells us to leave it to him, right? Now maybe he wanted me to talk about this particular, you know, today particularly, but that don't mean I'm going to talk about this tomorrow or the next day or the next day. And that's okay, because GSL is more than just this issue. You see what I'm saying? And all that. So I guess I share that to say, friends, that, like, don't let this stuff bog you down and not see the joy, peace, love, and all the rest of the things that God has for us here. You know, because there's plenty of joy, peace, love, and all this on earth. And we can get so bogged down by the sin and what the devil's doing, that we'll lose focus on what God is doing. So that's that. Let's find some balance, okay? If I needed some more confirmation of that, here goes some more verses. Romans 13:4, it says, for he is God, servant for you, servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. For he is the servant of God, an avenger who carries out God's wrath on the wrongdoer. So, yeah, that's just more information to let me know that God got it under control. Like he's not carrying no sword in vain. Like if you're doing the wrong thing, then be on the lookout, chaff, because you're gonna get thrown in the the fire alongside the rest. But if you doing the right thing, you ain't got nothing necessarily worried about. Let's keep on leaning and depending on the Lord and everything like that. Let me see. That's all in regards to the juice this morning, and in regards to the children in the threshing floor. There's a few things that God used to confirm this morning. I even looked up today's. Today represents the ninth season and the 57th episode. No, 52nd episode of the juice, and I looked that up, and what came up with that in the Strong's Concordance is declare wickedness, y'all. That's what I received when I looked at that, declare wickedness. So that was another confirmation to me to go ahead and talk about this today. To God be the glory that he used me. I hope these things open up your hearts and minds in any aspect. Get in the fight and do whatever it is that you feel led to do. If you feel led to get out there on the street in Atlanta, I already gave that information. But look, if you're looking on YouTube, it should be in our community information about where that will be. And do whatever you feel led to do, whether it's pray or be on the front lines holding a picket sign or whatever the case is. Do what you feel led to do. But here's another thing that confirmed it for me this morning as well, and it's the Bible verse of today. Matthew 5:43 and 44. It says, ye have heard that it hath been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. So God got it under control, y'all. That's what he wants us to do, and that is the juice. I hope that you all enjoyed the juice this morning. Thank you all so much for listening, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow at the Lord's will. Tomorrow's a Friday, so y'all know a new episode of God, Sex, and Love, the talk show, will be airing. Or the GSL talk show. I got to get into the habit of saying that, y'all. The GSL talk show will be airing tomorrow. Unfortunately, I don't remember the lady's name, but we put it on my social media and everything like that. Like I said, Mom, I was so engulfed in all of this morning that I forgot to look up. And I forgot that it was Thursday, to be honest. But y'all can look and see who's coming up on the talk show tomorrow by following me, actress Miracle Sims. But, that's the juice, y'all. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye. This episode was sponsored in part by the A1 Mission Agency, book number 1, The Origin, a Christian espionage series written by Timothy Bevan. This is the first book of the 7-book series that follows the espionage-filled lives of Toby, Scott, and Scooter, and explores themes such as lukewarmness, self-righteousness, redemption, and good versus evil. Purchase your copy today at Amazon.